Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and I'm here to give you another preview and prediction on a college football team. Today we will be doing the Arkansas Razorbacks. Last season the Arkansas Razorbacks finished the season 9-4, 4-4 in the SEC with losses against Georgia, Ole Miss, Auburn, Alabama, and those are the losses, my bad, miscounted. Anyways, Arkansas brings back a lot of pieces. They lost Traylon Burks, their star-studded wide receiver, and a couple of key pieces in the offensive line. However, they got Jaden Hazelwood, wide receiver from Oklahoma, in the transfer portal. He will be a great addition to their offense. Along beside him, you have Warren Thompson, wide receiver. Tight end, you have Trey Knox and Hudson Henry. Quarterback, you have redshirt junior quarterback KJ Jefferson, who honestly reminds me of Cam Newton from back in the day. I'm sure everybody remembers him. Running back, you have Raheem Rocket Sanders, Dominique Johnson, and AJ Green, the running back, not the wide receiver. The offensive line, you bring back a cornerstone of that offensive line from last year, Ricky Stromberg. He should be able to kindly lead the rest of the offensive line on what to do, kind of be the captain of the offensive line. On defense, you have a lot of older guys, some younger guys, and you got a transfer from Alabama in linebacker Drew Sanders, who will be an immediate impact player. At the other linebacker spots, you have Bumper Pool and Landon. No, just Bumper Pool. My bad. Corners, you have Darius Bishop, and then at safety, you have two transfers. I think Dwight McLaughlin is a transfer. Yes, transfer. And then I believe he transferred from LSU, and then transferred Latavius Brini from Georgia. Now, to the schedule. Week 1, they start out with Cincinnati. If this was last year, it'd be a good game. This year, I think Arkansas is going to blow them out. Week 2, they host South Carolina. I think South Carolina's on the right track. However, I don't think that they're on the tier of Arkansas yet. Maybe a couple tiers down. But I do think South Carolina will give them a tougher time than most of these other starting teams that they start out with. I think they start out 2-0. Then they play Missouri State, and that's going to be an easy win. It's going to be a little tune-up game for who they have next week is Texas A&M in Arlington. I think Texas A&M comes into this game wanting revenge from last year, and I think they get it. I think Texas A&M gets a marquee win here in Arlington against a 3-0, now 3-1 Arkansas team. Then the next week, Arkansas hosts Alabama. I think that the crowd noise is going to be a big part of this game. Last year, in every away game, Alabama struggled. Almost every away game, besides Mississippi State, struggled to keep Bryce Young on his feet. That was part because of the crowd noise that was keeping plays going longer than they needed to go. So I think the Arkansas front is going to impact Alabama and Bryce Young and that not as good offensive line as it has been. So give me the Hogs, and that brings them to 4-1. Next, they travel on the road to Mississippi State, and I think this is where they lose. I think Mississippi State's going to upset a big team this year, and I think it's going to be Arkansas. I think Arkansas goes to Starkville and gets beat by Mississippi State in the air raid. I think coming off a big win like Alabama, they'll be subjected to a loss or two. Speaking of that, on the road at BYU, I think Arkansas drops this one. It's just, when you're a new head coach, it's easy to get snuck up on by games like this against like BYU. We've seen it with Nick Saban. We've seen it with Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart lost South Carolina when South Carolina was unranked. I think had like 3 or 4 losses. And then, of course, Nick Saban, they lost to Louisiana Monroe his first year. I think BYU is going to be a competitive team this year as well. So I think it's going to be a close game in Provo. I just think Arkansas is going to lose this game. So coming off the bye week, they are 4-3. Yes, 4-3, and they play Auburn. I think they beat Auburn in Jordan-Hare. I don't think it's going to be close enough to where any kind of funny business can happen with the refs like it did 2 years ago when they played at Auburn. So I think Arkansas gets the win there. Against Liberty, Liberty's not the team they were last year. That's going to be a win. Against LSU, that's going to be a win. I think it's going to be a close game just because this game, when Arkansas has been good or mediocre at best, this has been a close game, just like last year. Then against Ole Miss, I have them beating Ole Miss at home. Last time that they played Ole Miss at home, they forced 5 turnovers, which that does not mean anything to this game, of course, but I think Arkansas's defense will be more ready for a Jackson Dart-led Ole Miss offense than a Matt Corral-led offense. And finally, at Missouri, I think Arkansas wins big in Columbia to finish off the season, to finish 9-3 with only 2 losses in the SEC West to make them 6-2 in the West. Let me know what you all think. So far, I'm fine with this. I could see them losing somewhere else than at BYU, but I think 9-3 is a good spot to have Arkansas. Anyways, that's the end of my rant. Go Dogs.